Hi, and welcome back to Channel Zero X. I'm Michael, and this is Caroline.
Hey everybody.
Now, we would like to talk about the J.J. Abrams story, which is circulating and ruffling a lot of feathers, quite rightly, I would say, but not without some degree of accountability, I suppose, on the part of people who've been pushing for people to have more conservative values. And isn't that what we're kind of getting here in a way? J.J. Abrams is making sure that his own son is getting perhaps the keys to the castle, and some of us may be taking some uh, exception to this situation, but at the same time, isn't this exactly what a lot of pro-conservative agitators would like to see?
And I just thought I'd look at what nepotism means. And that's just because I think we all know what it means, but just to really clarify, the practice among those with power or influence of favouring relatives or friends, especially by giving them jobs. And then the example is his years in office were marked by corruption and nepotism. Interesting, the kind of marriage of those two words,
Yeah,
corruption and
it goes
nepotism.
hand. It
But
goes.
can I just say something else that I thought when, do you remember how he said, I'm going to announce something really special? It reminded me
Papa
of,
John, was it?
yeah, and
Yeah,
I just, HH3 Productions, I think it
yeah,
was Ethan and Healer that did this
yeah.
video
H3,
about that,
H3.
and they
But
literally, sorry if I got that wrong, Ethan, but literally he goes, I'm going to introduce you to someone so special, and it went right through this mausoleum house, and then it turned
yeah,
out to be my son,
yeah,
who
yeah. You were
was ostensibly so probably embarrassed. I mean, I was going to follow him for the rest of his life. That's a diversion, I've taken us away from nepotism.
well.
But anyway, back to
The
the
thing, the,
reveal.
the thing about nepotism, and I'm not saying that this is objectively what that phrase, what that word means, but let's just say,
Oh, hang on, let's just
oh,
say who else is in the comic. Sorry.
oh, right,
The
we're going to talk about
illustrations will
the
be drawn by Sarah Pichelli,
who
the
has her fans. Yeah.
the co-creator of Miles Morales, the character who became really famous after the movie
Okay.
Into the Spider-Verse, which I have to say I've never seen.
Okay. So with this artist involved, maybe they have a bit cachet because Into the Spider-Verse did very well critically and commercially as a action-oriented animated film, and that came out around about Christmas time or so. It wasn't like a end game level of kind of blockbuster, but it did very well for a CGI animated film, and it was supposed to be exceptionally well written. That's all fine. So maybe this is what prompted JJ to want to have. God.
Now, I was just thinking, I thought this seemed quite a recent thing to me, but I've just looked at an article by the BBC, the UK BBC News. Probably not the most well, there's no trustworthy news sources in the UK, but as one that most people would think here trustworthy, apparently in an interview with the New York Times, Marvel editor Nick Lowe says he contacted J.J. Abrams 10 years ago, but it wasn't till Abrams teamed up with his 20-year-old son that he became keen on the idea of writing Spider-Man.
Well, I'm sure he's been teamed up with his 21-year-old son a lot longer than just a few years ago.
20,
But
20.
let's. I don't have anything against if they do a good job of this. And from what I gather, J.J. Abrams probably won't do anything really other than have a 5-minute conversation with his son about what his ideas are for it, and then Henry Abrams will just go off and do what he likes with it. And it may turn out great. Some people say, and I would be among them, that J.J. Abrams is not the greatest storyteller, but what he is good at
I think a
is
lot of people would be with you in
he's
that
good
one.
at dangling mysteries for you before letting you down and not being able to hit the landing.
So
But
basically, crap as a
yeah,
writer, crap as a director,
well, no,
crap.
let's say that he had a few interesting questions that he rose in Force Awakens, for example. I'm not exactly waiting with bated breath to see those answered, but there are a few questions about how what Rey's lineage is, etc. But back to this, in terms of
I don't know
whether
if
we
that's
should be
interesting
angry.
to me. I think
Well,
they
yeah, not
completely.
to
I'll
everyone.
tell you when they've completely lost me now. I don't know if this Twitter rumor is true, but if they're only bringing Luke back as a Force ghost, there's not a ripple in my decision just not to see the film. But
Yeah.
that's an aside,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, I think that it's not the first time that J.J. Abrams has denied, or I know this is out of Mark Hamill's mouth, but previously J.J. Abrams completely flatly denied that Khan would be the villain of Star Trek Into Darkness, and that's exactly what it turned out to be. So
I didn't know that.
that could be a red herring. So Luke Skywalker, if you're hoping that he's still going to be alive, physically incarnate in some form, don't maybe give up all hope just yet.
Well, I don't think any sane Star Wars fan is hoping
Yeah.
for anything else
Yeah,
than
but
Luke in
yeah,
incarnate form back to his
yeah.
best.
But sure, prepare for disappointment. But with this situation, if other people,
I was just laughing because I literally kind of saw this plane spiraling out of the sky and hitting the ground in the sense of prepare for disappointment. you
yeah,
know.
yeah, Star Wars has seen better days, and it may never see comparable days ever again. But we have a competent director who has voiced that he wasn't exactly pleased
Who has now allowed
with
his
The Last
son to
Jedi. So
co-write the new comic, which is literally just called Spider-Man.
they,
And I guess everybody knows this, but it says not a lot is known about the plot of the comic book yet, but the artwork from the cover suggests that Peter Parker's love interest Mary Jane will appear, and JJ said the story will feature a new villain named Cadaverous.
well, a new villain seems to be par for the course every other month. I think with Spider-Man, his roster of villains is probably
Don't you mean Marvel?
eclipsed only by Batman. That's not a problem. If they're creating a new villain, I think I'd prefer to see that than them just trying to paddle in the same pond that everybody else has done. With
Oh, you mean usurp really beloved characters and just
Yeah.
change them completely?
Yeah.
That's a good thing, I guess.
But what I think is the main issue that everybody has here is that it's not fair. It's that there are other people with merit, people who perhaps have a better track record or a track record at all. Why is this boy getting this opportunity ahead of other people? But at the same time, it is within Disney and Marvel's
But I think
power to be able to do this. Isn't it?
sorry to interject. Well, he's got more midi-chlorians than anyone else.
Maybe they ran to check here with those sensors.
I was just going to say, but it's an illustration of what the world is, and we can't rail against it. We just have to I was going to say beat it, but find a way through these kind of maelstroms maelstrom. No, that's not the word I meant. Maze of nepotism.
You know, people don't have a problem with mom and pop stores, or not. You know, not a lot of people.
No, I think mom and pop stores are probably one of the last great things that we have to keep.
No, and I don't think anyone is necessarily going to be saying that Disney and Marvel are a mom and pop store, but they do. But they are essentially tied in with the notion of family entertainment, families getting together, watching a movie, enjoying it together, and bonding over it. And
Well,
they
I
may
think
just
what you
say,
mean is they're trying to somehow dishonestly project the mom and pop store image while
Yeah.
being huge.
yeah. So I don't think this highlights that there's some kind of crisis in terms of people trying to make sure that they have a fort of their own which nobody can penetrate. This isn't the kind of situation I think we're finding with
You know
Marvel
what
and
I
Disney.
think we're
It's just-
finding is that we just
There
have
will-
to laugh at this.
There will be new talent coming in.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's about new talents coming in, forging new ways of expression, new ways of writing comic books and putting them out there. On one level, it's not funny. Nepotism, especially, because it is always linked with corruption, is not funny. But another level, I suppose we just have to laugh and think, well...
Marvel Comics are definitely trying to run their company into the ground.
But you know how Captain America, because it did get on my nerves a bit at the time, in Endgame says, we will win, we will win.
Inevitably, quality will still win out
eventually.
eventually.
I think the free market will decide.
But it will take I'm sure a huge sweep of the board, a real clean out before that happens.
What I find so interesting about it, just before we go, is the way they're crowing about it. I mean, they used to keep nepotism really under the table.
Maybe they're trying to get a new audience. Maybe they're actually even thinking we want a more right of center audience by doing this, because it might actually seem to be something that is in keeping what everybody is saying about the sanctity of the home, you know, the necessity of family, strong family bonds. Maybe this is what they're trying to
Okay.
appeal.
Maybe. Well, that's a good question for another time, maybe, and certainly a contentious
Yeah,
way or
as
nice
Maz
way
would
to wrap
as
up.
Maz would say it. Everybody's favorite Star Wars character, by the way.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course. Anyway, stay safe wherever you are. Have a good Friday afternoon or evening, and see you again.
Take care.
Please like, subscribe, leave us comments, tell us what you think. That's what we'd like to see. Bye bye.